So we have a few things to talk about in today's recap. The Cubs are reportedly trying to get Bo Bichette from the Blue Jays, but because Bo Bichette is so good, it's going to cost them a king's ransom. Shohei Ohtani, he is giving teams one rule. If you leak that I met with you, I will not come to your team. And then we have a few other smaller updates to talk about, so without further ado, let's get into it. Now, if you guys did not know, there is a brand new league called Baseball United, and within this league, there's a bunch of different former superstars like Pablo Sandoval, Robinson Cano, the savior of baseball, Bartolo Colon. I think he's almost 60 years old, but Pablo Sandoval, he might have just hit the first ever 6-run home run. Yeah, you heard that right. There's something called a money ball at bat where every single run that you score is double. So this 3-run home run turned into a 6-run home run, and you guys have to let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think that this is cool or do you think that this is weird? Coming up next, I have some terrible news for Pirates fans. Johan Oviedo, who really broke out in the second half, he was really good down the stretch aside from his final game of the season in which he gave up 6 runs. But in the second half of 2023, Johan Oviedo had a 3.7 ERA and he increased his strikeouts per 9. So he was finally starting to figure out. It kind of bums me out that Mitch Keller, he regressed as the season progressed. Rosny Contreras, he wasn't very good last year. And then Oviedo, who was kind of the bright spot in the rotation in the second half, he's going to be missing the entirety of 2024 and maybe even a few games in 2025. This is terrible. Now, staying with players who are going to be missing the majority of 2024 on the pitching side of things, Shohei Ohtani, we all know that he had that UCL surgery, so he's still going to be able to hit, but in terms of pitching, yeah, he's not going to be able to pitch at least until 2025. Same with Oviedo. This is the quote right here. If visits between Ohtani and a team are reported publicly, it will be held against the team, so the circles will be tiny and tight. Again, this is Jeff Passan talking about Shohei Ohtani and his free agency. If anything leaks about him visiting the Yankees, and the Yankees, they like to leak stuff. Now, again, I'm just using the Yankees as an example, but back in the day when Aaron Judge did not sign a contract extension with the Yankees, Brian Cashman, the GM of the Yankees, threw Aaron Judge under the bus, and then Aaron had to come out and say, like, I don't like when things go public. I don't like when things are leaked, but the Yankees, they tried to use it as a business strategy to almost say, hey, we tried our best. Now the fans can't be mad at us.
It's concluded, unfortunately. We'll be in a 1-year setting, a yet to be determined number. We obviously had a extended conversation over the last 3 weeks or so with Paige Odell and I've actually had a conversation with Aaron Judge briefly as well, but we're unsuccessful, obviously entering, those efforts in a new arena, which would be at the end of the season, when free agency starts, and maybe that'll determine what the obviously his real market value would be, because we certainly couldn't agree at this stage on a contract extension. Our final effort was trying to buy out 7 years of free agency at $30.5 million a year. Total would be 8-year deal, 7 free agent years at 30.5. Plus the 17 or 21.
I'm hearing rumors that the Rangers are still in on Shohei Ohtani. The Braves are trying to get him. The Giants, the Yankees, pretty much every team in Major League Baseball that has money is going to be trying to pry away Shohei Ohtani from, I almost said LA. They're in Anaheim. Can we change it back, please? Some are saying that Ohtani is being pretty petty and that when teams talk or make things public that it actually raises your value, because let's say that the Yankees are really in on Ohtani and maybe the Cubs try and swoop in. The Yankees might have to up their value, but Ohtani, he said, no, I don't want any of that. I want to keep my circle small, and if you don't do that, I'm not going to come to your team. All right, let's talk about one of the bigger rumors I saw over the last few days. Bo Bichette, who is pretty much the face of the franchise. It's definitely between Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Who's the bigger face in Toronto? Let me know. But the reports are surfacing that the Blue Jays, they don't want to trade Bo Bichette, but if the right trade comes to their desk, they're not afraid to hit full send. They will trade him even though they don't want to if they can get enough pieces in return. And the biggest reason why, Bo Bichette, he's a free agent in the next few seasons. Now, I do want to remind you guys that these are the last 5 players to have a .295 batting average with 85 plus home runs and 130 plus doubles by age 25. Look at these names. Bo Bichette is a machine. So Bo Bichette is going to be 26 going into the 2024 season. He's going to be a free agent in 2 seasons. So the Blue Jays, who haven't really given out a ton of massive contracts over the last few decades, are they going to move on from Bo Bichette? They might. And the Cubs, they're trying to pry him away. Again, you saw the stats on Bo Bichette, and even though he missed 27 games in 2023, he had 30 doubles, 20 home runs. He played better defense, not great defense, but it was better. And he had a 123 OPS plus, which is just under his 126 career OPS OPS plus, Bo Bichette flat out rakes. So you're pretty much going to get a younger version of Xander Bogaerts. And Xander Bogaerts, he's really good. Now, because the rumors swirling right now are that the Cubs are the favorite to land Bo Bichette if there is a trade, they're not going to use him at shortstop because obviously they have Dansby Swanson. They're not going to put him at second base because they have Nico Horner. Bo Bichette, honestly, he would be a fantastic third baseman, and that's where they might want to put him. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of A-Rod and Jeter back in the day. We all know that Jeter was not the best defensive shortstop, so A-Rod should have been the shortstop, but we all know that sometimes you play your face as the franchise at the position that they want. And Bo Bichette, even though he's a big name, he's not going to take shortstop from a near platinum glover in Dansby Swanson. He's for sure going to be playing the hot corner, and even if he plays average defense, they'll take any offense that they can get, and he's better than Jamie or Candelario, who was pretty good for them last year. So if we take a look at what the Cubs have to offer, their top prospect, Pete Crow Armstrong, the Blue Jays, they could definitely use a brand new center fielder. They really like speedy, high on base percentage guys in the outfield, aka Kevin Kiermaier, even though he's not the best at getting on base, but he's still pretty good at it. In terms of their everyday players, the only really trade piece that the Cubs have, in my opinion, is Christopher Morel. A lot of guys are big on Matt Mervis, but he hasn't really been able to figure it out at the major league level. But Christopher Morel, that dude rakes. Maybe Christopher Morel becomes your third baseman in Toronto, and then Bo Bichette is the third baseman for the Cubs for the next few seasons, and then maybe you can cross your fingers and hope that he signs an extension. I don't know. Again, these are all just rumors, so take them with a grain of salt. Now remember, Xander Bogaerts signed an 11-year, $280 million contract with the San Diego Padres, so considering Bo Bichette is like 4 or 5 years younger, he has not even reached his ceiling yet, in my opinion. Bo Bichette, honestly, could be the next shortstop to get $300 million, and the Blue Jays, they're going to have to try and save money for some of their pitchers. They got to try and save money for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who is probably the bigger face down in Toronto, but a lot of Blue Jays fans seem to think that Vladdy kind of dogs it. I don't think that's the case, but maybe Bo Bichette is the guy in Toronto. You guys have to let me know. If you guys take a look at the graphic on screen right now, the first Hall of Fame ballot for 2024 has been submitted, and it looks like Carlos Beltran, Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Andrew Jones, Manny Ramirez, A-Rod, Gary Sheffield, Utley, Billy Wagner, and David Wright are all getting votes from Adam Rubin. Again, this is the first ballot. Let me know what you guys think of this. This is an actual ballot. We'll be counting towards these players getting into the Hall of Fame. What do you make of Mr. Adam voting for David Wright and not Joe Mauer, or Billy Wagner and not someone like Bobby Abreu? Let me know your thoughts. But that does it for today's recap. Thank you for watching. I will have most of my setup done and hopefully a brand new mic over the next few days. So thank you guys for working with me. I appreciate your patience. Have a good one.